for healing process, and I would tell this to anybody, and for anybody who's looking for a legitimate time frame, the healing process is going to be different for everybody.
It is.
Leo is going to heal faster than I do. I'm going to heal differently than somebody who might have diabetes.
From what I remember hearing...
No, keep going. You were saying.
From what I remember hearing before, it took several months to even get the tape for the top surgery off.
Yeah. So for top surgery, it's generally 6 to 8 weeks. That's the healing time. Now, whether that's, it's 6 to 8 weeks back to work. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Which means lifting to some capabilities, being able to sit up. I know people have described it as, waking up from the surgery and feeling this immense pressure on their chest. And that's from the skin actually being sewn together. And just, missing those mammary glands.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you have to have, if something happens to, I'm going to say this word out, and I'm sure that this word shouldn't be a bad word, but nipples. There are multiple surgeries when it comes to nipple reattachment. Some people choose not to have them reattached.
I find nipples weird.
Yeah.
I find them weird. I know why they're there.
They don't really benefit a man. I mean,
They don't.
men don't need nipples. They're not cows. It's not, we know what a nipple's for. It's not like it's... Okay, anyway.
They exist. Why?
Yeah. Anyway, so... but as far as that part goes, again, surgery recovery time is roughly 6 to 8 weeks. I have heard that surgery scars vary.
I have heard that too.
And then it takes years before, they'll be red for the first 2 years, I heard. And then it kind of goes away. But what I did hear is that, especially someone who's bigger like me, my scars are actually going to go from mid-chest all the way to partially under the armpit.
Really?
Yeah, where a person who is much smaller won't have quite so large a scar. And that's the reason being is not only are they getting what's in the chest, but also kind of like the booby love handles.
Yeah, but the question is, will the scars ever disappear on some people?
Again, I think that comes down to, one, your ability to heal. You have to realize, the more vitamins you take in for yourself, the better.
Oh, then I'm concerned about myself, because I have scars that weren't even scars that are still there.
Yeah. And the other thing is, no, don't show me.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Right there.
Okay, anyway.
I hit the wall.
You hit the wall. Weirdo.
It hurt. I dented the wall.
So, the thing of it is that, if you're taking care of yourself and you're following your doctor's regimen, if you are probably using, the scar reduction creams, cocoa butter, things like that, you probably stand a better chance at reducing the scar effect. But there will definitely be scars. They will always go away. I think somebody said they were completely okay after 4 years.
But here's the funny thing: for those 4 years, you get to tell people weird stories. Like, oh yeah, I got attacked by a mountain lion.
Yes, he put a smiley face right on my chest.
Went right for right here.
I don't know if I care. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest that once those sutures have either come out or fallen out, however it works.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the first day that I get to run around outside without a shirt on.
I don't blame you. I can't wait for when I can walk around the house without a shirt on.
Right?
Comfortably.
Swimsuit season.
Yeah.
We don't have to, we get to wear, that's it. Trunks, nothing else. Yeah. I mean, I won't get it this year, but you won't get it this year either.
I won't be able to do that this year.
But next summer,
Beach, watch out.
Right? Forget beach. We'll go to an indoor water park. Ooh. Okay.
We're already talking about vacation in 2 years.
We're just planning vacations, based on, so, like I said, top surgery, now, this is one of the weird ones. Top surgery is usually covered in the United States as long as you have those criteria.
Yeah.
You have the gender dysphoria diagnosis. You have been on testosterone or estrogen for a year. That top surgery, for whatever reason, seems to be covered as long as there is evidence of gender dysphoria based on your top. You know, so
Okay.
if your doctor says, "Hey, you have gender dysphoria, what's it based on?" and you say, "Well, I don't like the way I look. These are in the way. Can I get rid of these?" I mean, you remember that was the first thing your doctor asked was, "Does that part of you bother you?"
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's
What
documented.
did I say? I don't remember.
Yes, you hate them.
I do.
You hate them,
Sometimes.
and that's like it's in the notes so that way when the time comes for top surgery,
Yeah.
the insurance company can backtrack, and that's what they do here in the United States, and it sucks. But your doctor's already kind of prepping that paper trail, and good for him because mine's doing the same exact thing. For people who don't have insurance,
Yeah.
this is a $15,000 price tag.
Damn.
Yeah,
Am I allowed to say that?
you just did.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like beaver dams.
Right. Candy cane.
Candy cane.
Candy cane.
But then that brings up the question: is down there then considered cosmetic?
Again, why it's not covered?
Yeah.
Why isn't it covered?
Because it's generally the defining feature. I'm going to say defining feature. When doctors see a baby and go, okay.
Muzzle tough. It's a boy. Yes, we talked about that. No, I'm not Jewish. Leo is. I'm not.
I'm not going to say anything because
Muzzle tough tends to be a. Anyway, down there is really what, doctors decide.
Yeah, is the defining feature of defining feature.
It is
defining.
a feature. It is. You're right.
I don't know the correct word for it. I can't think of a word.
You're talking about
feature.
it's what
defining
gender.
huzzah.
It's your gender defining.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like your gender ticker.
Yeah.
They
They don't look at the because it's not developed. They don't look at the breast
well no
of a baby. It's not developed.
No, and we know like as far as like pelvic bones go and things like that, women's pelvic bones are wider. That's why a woman's hips tend to be wider. It's for birthing. But you can't see that in a baby. You can't see that when something's fresh out of the womb.
And then in the same breath, pelvic bones vary.
Right.
From person to person, so you can't make that adjustment.
Right.
But then why is removing it or changing it considered cosmetic?
I know. I agree completely.
Doctors.
Well, and the thing of it is, you have to realize it's not all insurances. Most insurances do not cover bottom surgery.
Yeah.
There are, of course, the exceptions. But again, you're talking twig surgery, berry surgery. You're talking urethra surgery.
Yeah.
And then you're talking
Sensory.
sensory. Yeah, that's a good word because the word that was coming to mind was not the word to use on a podcast.
I can't wait to hear it later. You better tell me after this.
Think Buzz Lightyear. Woody.
You need to stop.
I couldn't help it. It was Woody surgery.
You're
That's what
done.
was coming on.
You're done.
So anyway. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Okay. But again, when it comes to bottom surgery, you're looking at 7 to 10 days hospital stay. Hospital stay. 7 to 10 days. That's how...
Holy guacamole.
And then it's another 6 to 8 weeks of rest.
Yeah.
At home or wherever. So you're not even allowed to go back to work for 6 to 8 weeks. That 7 to 10 days is based on the fact... And again, now, this is, one hospital, but it's the general consensus between doctors. And I found that on healthline.com. So the thing of it is that 7 to 10 day window allows, literally, let's face it, if there's even a minor leak in the urethra.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're talking about yeast infections, bacterial infections.
All the infections.
All the fun stuff.
The
They got to go back in. In addition to that, if they have built they built the part from arm tissue or back tissue, they have that area to worry about infection as well.
Yeah.
And we've seen pictures of people with their forearm and it's all scarred over from where they took
skin
and muscle and what have you. Which a buddy of mine was like, "That's fabulous. Let's do a full sleeve tattoo." I'm like, "That's one reason to do it. Okay, sure." But that's the thing is you're dealing with multiple areas that are prone to infection, and the hospital stay is necessary to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to.
Everything is doing what it's exactly supposed to do.
That's right.
And not doing something stupid.
So, and again, the doctors that I've looked into, whether that's Massachusetts U or the Mayo Clinic or what have you, they all say the same thing. If the surgery does not help you with your dysphoria, don't do it.
Yeah.
You open yourself up for risk. Every single time that a perfectly healthy human body is cut into, you open yourself up for risk. No pun intended with the opening. Lower surgery is, like I said, just from the sound of it, it's very complicated. It's time consuming. It's tedious work. 6 to 8 hours under anesthesia, it's not good for the human body.
I would imagine not.
You will lose some hair from it, having been under anesthesia for a time frame. Not hair down there.
I had to ask.
No, what happens is you have hair. All your hair follicles, they actually rotate dormancy, so they don't all grow at the same exact time.
Oh, I wonder.
Yeah, so that's why some of yours are longer than others sometimes. But the thing of it is, when you go under anesthesia, whatever follicles were dormant fall out.
Oh, that's great.
Well, and that's why, like, I have all this. I had for the longest time this very thick, luscious hair, like you do.
I wouldn't call it luscious, but I definitely would call it thick.
It's thick. You look like a guinea pig laid on top of your head. Which, by the way, you're going to need a cut soon.
I know.
But anyway,
it's getting a bit long.
It is. Stop playing with your head.
No.
And the thing of it is, like my hair on top, I had gastric sleeve.
Yeah.
Well, the follicles that were dormant, those hairs never grew back. So I'm much thinner up top now because of that. So if I were to go under again, I'm going to lose Rogaine. Here I come.
Male pattern baldness?
No, there will be no male pattern baldness in my life. I will not be my father or my grandfather.
What are you gonna do? Wear wigs?
Rogaine.
Okay.
Yeah, I will wash shampoo on my head to make my hair grow. I will. I swear. I will not go bald.
I have a friend who keeps teasing me about male pattern baldness.
I don't think. I swear you don't have anything to worry about. There's more than enough hair up there. You ought to give some to people.
What am I going to give? What am I going to give?
Your little stubs. So we talked about recovery time. We've talked about surgery. We talked about Sweden and Switzerland.
We talked about what would happen after surgery for work.
Yeah.
What about school?
That's a good question.
What about school?
What about school? What about this would probably be a surgery that you'd want to schedule in like early summer, like June, so that you didn't have to sweat that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, again, it would come down to your doctor. Fortunately, nowadays, there's so much virtual schooling available. Almost every school district, at least in this area, has a virtual accessibility.
Yeah.
So that's probably what would end up happening is virtual schooling.
All right.
And that might be something that we have to consider when it comes to your top surgery. Because you will be available, or you will be able to have top surgery in October of next year? October this year. October this year. Which means that, assuming that, we're not in the throes of a COVID another outbreak, another variant.
How many variants are we on?
I don't know.
I've lost track.
Yeah.
I stopped counting after
We're not, and by no means are we making fun of COVID.
We're not.
We're not. We're both vaccinated. We're both boosted. We are both, Leo wears his masks to school. He wears his mask to the grocery store. And Leo is very good when it comes to hand washing.
People disgust me.
The whole 9 yards. And that's not to say that we couldn't still get it, because we both know, that just because you've gotten your vaccine and your boosters doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means it lessens the severity of it.
Yeah.
We have had friends pass away from COVID.
Especially recently.
Yes, actually, I actually lost a friend today. A friend of Pop's. So I lost a good friend today to COVID. So we're not joking about COVID, but
no.
In the same breath, we've learned that if we don't laugh even just a little bit about, firefighters call it dark humor. It's what gets us desensitized in some way to the stuff that we do see. So we're not dismissing COVID in any way, shape, or form. It's very serious. Please, please, please wear your masks, wash your hands, use your hand sanitizer, be safe in crowds. And
if you are safe and healthy enough to get vaccinated, please do.
Yeah, Leo recommends it. I recommend vaccinations. We promise that absolutely nothing has happened to either of us. There's no bits and pieces of us that have shriveled up and fallen off.
I remember that story.